Welcome back, everybody. My name's Andrew, and you're watching the Kelley's Country Life. So, on this episode, yes, we are tearing out some of the hard work that we built and put in, but it's for the better. Sometimes you make changes. Now is the perfect time to catch it. Actually, 2 weeks ago would have been the perfect time to catch this change, but we are changing our house plans a little. After spending some time upstairs in the attic, we realize, even though on paper it doesn't look like you have headroom up here or room for a loft, after spending some time up there, we think that we do. And we're gonna put us a little office or bedroom in. We've been working with our engineer, working with the architect, and it's looking very promising. Promising enough that they've already promised a certain size room. We're trying to see if there's a way we can change shape, sizes, make the room even bigger. But regardless, no matter what room size we do, I have to put joists 12 inches on center because of the size that I'm going with. Otherwise, I would have to tear everything out and lose a pile of money in lumber. We don't want to do that. Now, we have some problems. Today's video is about correcting some of those problems that's in the way so we can get more floor joist in. And if you're curious about the changes that we're making, room layout, and a brief discussion, I will try to remember to put that video up top here. I'll include it at the end of this one. It's basically a vlog of me talking and discussing why we haven't house built, what's going on, and I may even stick it down in the description so you can go look for it there. You may want to watch that and then come back to this video and explains how we've got to this point. All right, so according to the engineer, I requested could we put 2x8 joists 12 inches on center in order to support live and dead weight for, you know, living and habitable space upstairs. He crunched some numbers and said, yes, we can. That would actually work. We are 4 inches shy of reaching the maximum clear span distance allowed for a southern yellow pine 2x8. Keep in mind, southern yellow pine, you need to factor that in here. It has far greater strength than some of your whitewood species. That's all over the internet. Check it out. A lot of times you'd have to do a 2x10 to get the same strength as a southern yellow pine. That's why it's specific that my structural lumber up in here, especially these, it's even got a note on there, must use number 2 southern yellow pine for these joists right here. So we got the permission to do a habitable space, live and dead load upstairs, 12 inches on center. I have to notch out all this blocking, knock out some of these drywall nailers that I put up here, knock out the blocking over here, figure out how to slide joist in all the way down to this 6x6 post right here, because this is the room size we want to build here. And sadly, due to where this wall is located, it's not perfectly dead center in the house. I am going to have a time trying to get joist in up over here. I'm actually going to have to knock the blocking completely out in order to do that. Over here, I'm going to try notching and sliding joist in, which sounds easy. It will not be. This is definitely going to be a nightmare of a job, but I think it's going to be well worth the reward of having extra living space for very minimal effort and very minimal money. So here we are next day. We actually had to knock off earlier yesterday and go to a 4th of July get together. So I'm sure this video is coming out well after 4th of July. Hopefully y'all had a great weekend. We certainly did. But just got back from the from the hardware store picking up some more 2x8s. That was an ordeal. Took a few hours because I had to go to 2 different towns, because the first town that I stopped at, I went in to get supplies for this tropical storm that's coming. I know this is confusing. I'm actually talking before the 4th of July, before the tropical storm. I'm not, this will probably be released maybe after both or right during the tropical storm. But anyways, I'm preparing, I'm getting ready, I'm buying stuff, and I knew I had to get lumber. I go up to there and tell the guy, hey, I need 13 2x8 16 footers so we can continue on this project. He's ringing it up. I said, by the way, this is normally my cheap lumber store. I said, how much are they? $50, he tells me. I said, $50? Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. That's the highest price I've ever heard. Lumber's supposed to be dropping. That is insane. So I had to leave that town. On my way home, decided to call the next town over, and I'm sharing all this with y'all because y'all ask constantly about how's lumber doing, is it prices dropping. So I called another store, $34.99 or $35.99. Okay, that's still very high, but we just went from $50 to $35 per board. Called one more place, $27.69. That's a little more like it, even though that's still high. I was just buying them for $24, but that's from a big box retailer. So driving 40 miles for 13 boards saved me $299, $300 if I remember adding it up correctly. Wow. Lumber is all over the place right now. It was all consistently high. Now it's just nuts. And I keep hearing that it's dropping. Hopefully it is in y'all's part of the country. Drop me a comment, let me know. But I think the high inconsistency that I'm having right now, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe some of these stores have already bought in, got the cheaper lumber. Some still sitting on old inventory and the prices are high. So maybe this is a good thing, but thought I'd share that little story with you. We went from $50 a board to $27 just by driving another town over. Insane. It is worth it to call around. Okay, now for rambling on, we're gonna get back to work. I actually bought something this morning that somehow I have not had in years because I have become so dependent on power tools. I don't have a handsaw. I don't have a simple handsaw. Had one long time ago. Can't remember the last time I've ever seen it, so I had to pick one of those up this morning too. That should make that last little ½ inch of cut that I have to do at the top of these notches go so much smoother now. So as y'all can see, yesterday I got all the blocking notched out all the way over to there. Figured out that I can knock the end caps off, come in on the other side. Of course, I'm probably gonna wait till after tropical storm to do that. Made it all the way through this run, so I only have 2 runs left. Should go quick now with the handsaw, looking forward to that. And then we are going to go ahead and cut and try to install all these joists today too, because I think I can come in this room without taking the plastic down or the end caps, push them up and start working them through. And that's not gonna be fun. But I like this idea so much more than ripping all that blocking out with all those ring shank nails in it that I would have never got. As I always say, enough yakking, let's get to work. Golly, I love these little crowbars. That beak is perfect. On the Monday. So I had a viewer give me this is what's called a punch sink nailer. I've never seen one of these before either, but he gave me this a while back and said, hey, eventually at some point in your house build, you're gonna be tearing stuff out and you might need to drive nails back out. So this does two things. One, it can supposedly slide over that nail all the way, punch it out the backside, and if you've ever tried to knock them out with a hammer, you know how aggravating that can be. Sometimes you can get them knocked out the backside. A lot of times you bend them over, you got to fight with them. It's supposed to do that relatively quick and easy. Or, I guess you can adjust air pressure on it. If you have a nail that you want to countersink or drive just under the surface, it'll do that too. I guess that's why it's called a punch or sink nailer. So let's see if it'll drive these nails out. Holy moly! It shot it all the way out, and there it is laying on the ground. Wow, that worked really, really good. Wow, I can't believe it's shooting them out. Holy, I can't believe the force this is shooting them out. I mean, check this out. It's knocking them right out like it's nothing. These are ring shank nails. All right, just discovered something. If I won't put a whole bunch of pressure down and shoot it, it don't knock them all out. If I kind of just hold this loosely and let it kick back up on me some, it's knocking them out the backside perfect, but leaving them in the wood where I can just take a hammer real quick and get them out. So I guess there's technique to this. But dadgum. Thank you, Mr. Harry. He's done gave me a couple things. That thing works really good. All right, well, all of the floor joists are in now, thank goodness. Got the end caps back on. That worked out quite well. Only wound up tearing just a little bit of plastic to accomplish this. I'll tape it up. The joists are toe nailed in from the outside. We still have a lot to do, but it is knocking off time for me today. I accomplished what I wanted. Everything in the end. And I can tell y'all walking around on this now that it's 12 inches on center. Still got a lot of nailing to do, as you can hear, because keep in mind every other joist has yet to be nailed in from up top. I'll snap some chalk lines and do that, but wow, it's solid. There is no give, no nothing. So a lot of people have been asking me why I never glued this first run of OSB down, and honestly, I just didn't know, didn't think anything of it. It's an attic. It was not supposed to be living space, no walking up here really, so I wasn't even thinking about squeaking or any issues. So as I'm walking around today with loose joists underneath that are not nailed in, I see what y'all mean. I can hear the noise. But the good news is, let me walk back here to where everything is nailed in. No noise, no nothing. So nailing it in is going to quieten it up. Every other joist, like I said, is not nailed in, but since it wasn't glued, and just to make me feel better, I think I'm going to come back on every joist where I'm 8 inches nailed in the field and maybe put a screw. Those will really sink down and hold, and the only thing that's ever going to make squeaking or noises is if this wood can shift on the joist. That's what the glue helps. I think I've got more than enough nails in there to stop that. I'm 4 inches on the edges per engineer. I'm 8 inches out in the middle. And I think I'll go back with probably some 1 5/8 or 2-inch screws. And we'll get this thing to where it shouldn't squeak or ever give me any racket. Now when I come back and do my second layer of 1/2 inch OSB up top where the room's going to be, I'm going to liquid nail it all down, probably turn it a different direction, and make an unbelievably strong 1-inch thick floor. The engineer told me that was no problem since I couldn't really rip all this up. And what he requested was 3/4 inch, so I'm going to double it up to 1 inch. This will be very, very strong. So I've got to eat a little crow. I got quite a few comments from the last house build, and quite a few people said, hey, you forgot to stagger your seams on this one run of OSB. I was like, no, I didn't. I staggered them. I think I just staggered 2 foot off instead of 4 foot because of the OSB, the way I had to cut it for the attic entrance, and I wanted to use it. I mean, this stuff's outrageous. And then I come up here today, it's the first time I've been up here in several days, and realize y'all were exactly right. I do not know how that I missed that. Normally I pay much better attention than that, but I've been getting flustered, hot, and just trying to fly through this up here. And yeah, I messed up. Every seam is staggered like I like for it to be. Right there, I didn't do that. It's still going to be plenty strong. Everything's blocked out. We're good. But yeah, now my OCD's bothering me. And there's no way I'm tearing all that OSB up because there is literally hundreds of ring shank nails holding all that down. So, yep, y'all were correct. I messed up. Okay, so here is a quick look from the bottom. Wow, does that look super strong and beefy now. I mean, unbelievably strong. So the little hook that I made wound up working beautiful. I love inventing little tools like this to help me out. It's just something that popped up in the head. I mean, I was struggling beating these joists in place, and a mechanical advantage, I love it. They come along, made quick work of this stuff. Had to kind of fish some of them through because they were twisted and bowed. Clamps are a lifesaver for things like that. But here it is. I mean, wow, what a super strong floor, especially once I put 1 inch of OSB on top of that. So what'll be coming up in the next episode? All this blocking is still loose up here. We've got to go back and toe nail all of it into the joist. We've also got to come back up here and hurricane strap every other joist that now needs the strap. Same thing on the other side, and then we're going to go back to blocking and trying to finish the attic up, because once the attic is finished, everybody keeps asking me, why are you wasting time on this? Why are you not sheathing the house? Tropical storm's coming, which by the time y'all watch this, Actually, it'll still be the day before, I believe, because that's what I'm doing all day tomorrow is prepping, getting ready, and I'll have a video out for that. We're going to kind of make this thing a little bit of a fortress and keep the water out of where it doesn't need to be, which is really, honestly, upstairs. So everybody asked, why aren't you sheathing? Well, see, something is missing. I still need to put my stub walls up, and the way that I had designed it, in hindsight's 2020, I would have done this completely different if, you know, I had it to do all over again, where I could go ahead and have the stub wall up and the heck with the attic. But the way I've decided to do it, I need to finish the attic, so now I can get up there, actually have working room. Again, I'm working by myself. Build that stub wall, raise it up to where it's got the height of this. Now I can go back and put my sheathing on. So I cannot sheathe the house, I cannot Tyvek it, cannot wrap it until these 3 walls over here are done and 3 walls are done on the other side. So we're trying to rush and finish the attic to do that. Yes, this tropical storm is absolutely going to catch us, but it doesn't like it's supposed to be strong, not a tremendous amount of wind. And like I said, next episode y'all watch, I'm going to do some things to kind of beef up our rain protection here. I think we'll be okay, but we're going to keep moving right toward drying the outside of this house in ASAP. Stopping, taking the time to add extra living quarters like we did, in my mind, was 100% the right thing to do. I have to get these floor joists in. Now, before I can finish the attic, it was the only way to do it. Now was like the absolute last time to do it. And then that held up the stub walls, the sheathing. So I see the frustration in a lot of y'all's comments, as in, why is this guy wasting time? Why is he not drying this house in? Well, life still happens. I still have hobbies. I still have things to do. And then we have changes like this. So we're going to get there. The house is not going to blow down because of a hurricane. Y'all got to understand, this barn up here is already rated to 150 something miles an hour. As is, this lumber in here is not catching wind. If anything, it makes this whole barn stronger. So the only thing that a storm right now could honestly damage is the OSB upstairs, and I've got a plan for that, and rip that plastic. If the house fills up with water, it's already done it many times. I'll squeegee everything out. We got pressure treat bottom plates. As y'all can see, there's some spotty mold around here. It is what it is. It's been extremely hot and moist, over 15 inches of rain in the last week and a half. So before I dry the house in, I'm just gonna have to spend a day out here bleaching and treating all the lumber. This is not the first house to get wet or rained in that's getting built. So bear with me on that. This episode's probably long by now. I feel like I just did a ton of talking. Thank y'all so much. Stay safe if you're in the path of the storm. Like I said, I'll have another video out, hopefully right about the time the storm's gonna hit. It looks like it's absolutely coming right into this area. We're thankful that it's not predicted to be a strong storm. We're gonna be okay. Y'all stay safe. We'll catch you on the next video.